Basic user error from a CEO is the reason why North Korea now has $1.5 billion in Ethereum to spend on highly enriched uranium. Also in your Hacking News Roundup, an infamous ransomware gang has just been shut down by the feds. But first, the world's second largest crypto exchange has fallen victim to a $1.5 billion crypto heist. Slight panic ensued, causing the value of Ether to tumble by 4%, all whilst customers of Bybit rushed to withdraw their funds from the exchange. So what caused this? Exchanges like Bybit keep the vast majority of their crypto in cold wallets which are kept offline, and they keep a relatively small amount of crypto in warm wallets where it can be used to actually run the platform, facilitating things like customer withdrawals. The logic here is that if someone hacks into Bybit, theoretically the worst case scenario is that they'll only be able to access the relatively small amount of crypto held in those warm wallets. It's kind of like how ATMs only hold a small amount of cash at any one time, rather than holding all the bank's assets for obvious reasons. However, just like every so often ATMs need to be manually topped up with cash, every few weeks Bybit's warm wallets also need to be manually topped up from the cold wallets. The hackers exploited this process. Bybit uses Safe's multi-sig wallet service to handle this top-up process. Multi-sig means multi-signature, so for a transfer to go ahead, it needs to be signed off by 3 different people, with Bybit's CEO being the last person in the chain. And just as he's done countless times before, the CEO received a link to make the transfer. However, this time, whilst it looks like he was making a genuine regular transfer, the user interface he was looking at was totally fake. Whilst the destination address appeared to be Bybit's warm wallet, in reality, it belonged to North Korean hackers. However, there is a bit of mystery here. According to the CEO, the link he clicked to make that transfer looks legit, so perhaps Safe was compromised, or maybe that link he clicked wasn't quite as it seemed. Either way, it really shouldn't have mattered, because the CEO was connecting a ledger device to his PC in order to physically sign transactions. These things have a small screen which shows exactly where you're sending your crypto to. This is really useful, because regardless of whether your computer has been hacked and is lying to you about the destination address, the ledger doesn't lie and will tell you exactly where your coins are about to be sent. But the screen on a ledger is small and cumbersome to use, so many people skip the verification step and just tap sign, which is exactly what Bybit's CEO did. By signing the transaction, he mistakenly approved a malicious smart contract, sending $1.5 billion in crypto straight to Kim's hacker henchman. Whilst due diligence might not be the CEO's speciality, at least he was transparent. Less than an hour after realizing his screw-up, he hopped on a live stream delivering the bad news to Bybit's 60 million customers. The company did manage to get a loan to cover the stolen funds, so luckily for customers, their funds are safe. This isn't going to be another Mt. Gox situation. The company also announced a bounty of 10% of the stolen coins. That's $150 million to anyone who can recover the funds. Though don't hold your breath on that. While stolen crypto is sometimes recovered, it's rare. A reward was also announced for anyone able to identify the perpetrators of the hack, and within hours, that mystery was solved by ZachXBT, a researcher who connected this heist to a previous crypto hack carried out by Lazarus, North Korea's infamous hacking group. But that revelation is probably the most unsurprising thing about this story. When you're the most sanctioned country in the world, you have to get creative with how you make money. Sometimes that means infiltrating Western companies and infecting them with ransomware, or setting up a production company to animate your favorite TV shows, but for years now, crypto heists have been North Korea's speciality. Just last year, Kim's hacker henchmen were responsible for 61% of all funds stolen from crypto platforms worldwide. 61%, that's $1.3 billion in total. And fast forward to 2025, it's only February and they've already topped last year's numbers. In fact, this latest hack of $1.5 billion is roughly equal to 5% of North Korea's entire GDP. And where does all that money go? According to the UN, other than buying expensive clothes that just don't fit him, Kim spends much of this cash on his nuclear weapons program. So if you were holding any ether in Bybit, there's a decent chance your coins are now going to be spent on highly enriched uranium. Next up, the ransomware gang 8space has just been taken out by the feds. After their dark website was plastered with a seizure notice, there were rumours that these guys might have just faked their own death, pulling a Black Hat style exit scam, but law enforcement quickly confirmed that this was in fact the real deal. 8base spawned in 2023, quickly becoming rather successful, occasionally making the top 5 on global ransomware leaderboards. These guys are an affiliate crew, meaning that they don't develop their own ransomware, but rather use the malware of a different gang, Phobos, to carry out their attacks. Each time a victim paid up, Phobos would get a small slice of the pie. That is, before Swiss and US authorities came together and said fuck it, is where 8base hackers are located. So they got Thai cyber police to bust down their door, seemingly arresting the alleged cyber criminals whilst they were in the middle of a movie night. Police also seized phones, laptops and a bunch of crypto, with the whole event being dubbed Operation Phobos Ator. The two suspects are accused of stealing $16 million from more than 1,000 victims worldwide, meaning that each victim only paid on average a $16,000 ransom, a relatively small amount in a world where we frequently see multi-million-dollar payouts. This is because, aside from just a couple of high-profile victims, 8base preferred to target small to medium-sized businesses. However, Europol said that thanks to the takedown, they were able to warn more than 400 companies that they were next on 8base's hit list. The two alleged cybercriminals, both of them Russian citizens, have just been charged by the US and are now facing extradition, where, if convicted, they could spend the next couple decades. Or, who knows, maybe they'll become part of the next prisoner swap between Russia and the US, but I guess that depends on whether they have any connections to the big guy. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.